Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Mrs. Anderson, and in this video I'm going to show you how to solve a radical equation. First of all, let's talk about what a radical equation is. A radical equation is simply an equation that includes a square root sign. For example, something might look like this. The square root of x equals y, where x and y could be representing variables or numbers in a problem. The words radical and square root are pretty much interchangeable, so if you hear someone talking about a radical in a problem, they're probably referring to a square root of some type. Note that it doesn't have to necessarily be a square root. It could be a cube root, a fourth root, or anything else. Let's look at an example. For this first one, we have the square root of x equals 8. To get rid of that radical sign, in this case the square root sign, we're going to square each side of the equation because that will get rid of that square root sign. So it looks like this. The square root of x squared is equal to 8 squared. On the left side, the square root and the squared essentially cancel each other out and we're left with x, and 8 squared is 64. So the answer is going to be 64 for this equation. For this next one, we have the square root of 4y equals 10. We're going to solve this the same way that we solved that last one. We start by squaring both sides of the equation. That gives us the following: 4y equals 100. In order to solve for y, we're going to divide both sides by 4. So we get y equals 25. For this next one, we have underneath the square root sign x over 5 equals 3. We're still going to start by squaring both sides of the equation. On the left side, we're going to be left with that fraction, x over 5, and on the right side, we're going to have 9. In order to get that 5 out of the denominator of the fraction, we multiply by its reciprocal. Technically, this is 1/5 times x, so the reciprocal of 1/5 would be 5. So another way of thinking about this is to multiply both sides by the 5. In doing that, we'll get x equals 45. For this next one, we have the square root of 3x minus 1 equals 5. That minus 1 is separate from the square root. The first thing that we're going to want to do is add 1 to each side of the equation. So you can see how they're adding 1 to the left side and 1 to the right side. Remember, you need to do it to both sides of the equation in order to keep it balanced. Now we have the equation say the square root of 3x equals 6. And this looks like those equations that we've done previously. So we square both sides. So we end up with 3x equals 36. We divide by 3 and we get x equals 12. For this one, we have the square root of 3n plus 8 minus 5 equals 0. Like the last problem, I need to get that minus 5 move over to the other side first. So I'm going to add it over to the right side. So now I have the square root of 3n plus 8 equals 5. Now I square each side of the equation. On the left side now I have 3n plus 8 equals 25. I subtract 8 from 25 and I get 17. So now I have 3n equals 17. I'm going to divide both sides by 3, and I'm going to be left with that fraction 17 over 3. Now depending on the problem and what the directions tell you, you can either leave it as a fraction or you can give a decimal answer if that's what they want. Let's challenge a little bit here. For this one, I have square roots on both sides of my equal sign. I have the square root of 5x minus 7 on the left side, and the square root of 3x plus 3 on the right side. For this one, I'm going to automatically square both sides of the equation. This is going to get rid of both of the square root signs. On the left side, I have 5x minus 7, and on the right side, 3x plus 3. Now this is a two-step equation because we're going to have to combine our x terms and our regular number terms. So what I'm going to do here is subtract the 3x over to the left side from that 5x, and then I'm going to add 7 over to the 3. So I've kind of combined those two things in this one step here, and so I'm left with 2x equals 10. Then I divide both sides by 2, and I get x equals 5. If you're ready to give it a try, I've created a practice quiz on a website called Quizizz.com, and it is a multiple choice platform where you can go and practice the skill you just learned. The link to that can be found below in the description, but I've also included it here for you to type into your URL if needed. I hope you learned something from this video, and thank you for watching.